The Concordance Extraction Corporation is the largest solar mining and extraction company in the Dead Space universe. The organization is the front of the deep space mining industry that is also referred to as the CEC, and it is the fifth largest corporation for their market capital. However, the CEC is also responsible for the creation of the planet-cracking vessels known in the media as the Planet Cracker class ships, with the most notable of the fleet being the most famous of all, the USG Ishimura, that was also the flagship of the CEC. In this video, we will be delving into the lore about the CEC and exploring their functions and role to play in the games. The CEC had been the first corporation to build and manage massive ships capable of cracking open and breaking down moons, asteroids, and even planets, along with using the shock point drives for commercial use. Their profits are in the trillions, as seen in the last video when we explored the career of the USG Ishimura. The CEC owns two main shipyards, with one being in orbit around Earth, which is where the main headquarters had been located, and another shipyard had been on Mars. The ships in the CEC's fleet are as follows: the USG Ishimura, which had been the flagship of the corporation, which had served for 61 years prior to its eventual destruction in the events of Titan Station; the USG Castle, which the whereabouts of this ship is currently unknown; the USG Perseus, which had been destroyed in the events of Dead Space Liberation; and three unidentified Planet Cracker class ships, one of which had been destroyed due to a gravity tether failure in the Wonnet disaster that occurred in 2497. The other two ships' whereabouts are currently unknown, however. The next ship would be the Resource Extractor class ship known as the USG Charion, which the status of this craft is currently unknown. The Personnel Conveyor class ship that had been used to transport miners, colonists, and other personnel going by the name of Phoebus SE, which the status of this craft is also unknown at this time. The First Responder class ship, the USG O'Bannon, which had been destroyed by the USM Abraxas in the events of Dead Space Aftermath that had occurred 3 weeks after the events of Dead Space. The Wei Lao class ship that is currently unknown what purpose it had served, and the whereabouts is also unknown at this time. And finally, the USG Kellion, that was part of the emergency response team sent to Aegis 7 to assess the communication blackout. However, that had been destroyed due to the necromorph infestation in the events of Dead Space. The CEC also employs a security force in all of their establishments and ships, such as the Planet Crackers, the colonies, also known as PSEC, the main headquarters, the shipyards, and the other ships previously spoken about. The CEC logo is meant to symbolize a planet being clamped down by the letter C. The founding of the CEC had been in an unknown time period, which had most likely have been in the 23rd century, which would mean that they hadn't always been in the mining industry, but had been contracted by the sovereign colonies or were double dealing. Regardless, since the end of the war, the CEC always had the ambition and the mindset to become a powerhouse of industrial might and a major cross-system employer. Over the years, the CEC had been funded by several investors, including EarthGov, who had given a generous budget which had been allocated to election spending. All of this had allowed them to maintain a strong market position and to secure political support, to which the CEC calls the governing body as dedicated to their overall operations. However, the CEC had also been connected to the church in a way. as when they uncovered the red marker, or marker 3A, the church had asked them to return it to them, to which the CEC had sent the USG Ishimura to recover it and to break down the planet Aegis 7, which they knew full well of the captain's ties to the church. Another notable member of the CEC had been an executive director for them, along with having ties to the church as well, who was known as Warren Eckhart, who would rotate unitologists all around the ship until there had been at least one unitologist present in all of the key locations. Getting away from the church, which seems to be an issue these days, the CEC had owned over 400 vehicles in their records, including their fleet of planet crackers. The USG Ishimura in particular had been a massive boost to their appeal, as it was heralded as the savior of the colonies, especially when it had pioneered the scan and catch technique, which had become a staple in the deep space mining industry, where the ship would scan floating objects, debris, moons, and entire planets, helping them to make a decision if they were to leave it be or to catch it, as it was called. By catch it, they mean break it down and harvest the resources grafted from such a find. The CEC would also assure their investors and potential investors of their financial security, and that they took their employees' safety very seriously. Going with the slogan, when you invest in the CEC, you are investing in a future we can all believe in, and CEC, powering humanity into the future. However, like all corporations, this one had a dark side to them, with the illegal operations they would conduct, as the Aegis 7 colonization and planet crack operation hadn't been the only illegal operation they had conducted over the years, with the notable quote from Benjamin Mathias, the captain of the USG Ishimura, who had stated, "Just another illegal mining operation for the company." There also had been miners and personnel aboard the Ishimura who viewed the corporation as being greedy capitalists, and that was to be the case, as with the event of breaching the government's laws just to crack a planet didn't seem to raise any red flags in the company, as if sweeping the detail underneath the rug, which sought to the demise of caution. The corporation seems to go by the means justify the ends. However, in the case of the second incident of the Aegis cluster, that would mean the total stagnation of the deep space mining industry when the USG Ishimura had gone missing after they had sent the response team to the system and no word had been sent back for them. Worried about the state of the industry, they had pleaded with EarthGov to go out into the cosmos and to find their lost ship, and they would accept, as this had meant with the stagnation a lack of funds would mean a lack of revenue would be coming in for them too. Once the ship had been located, repairs needed to be issued, and the ship needed a confidential cleanout by the Overseer's forces, so that the cover story of a terrorist plot could work for them. By just the sheer sight of the Ishimura docking at the sprawl, business for deep space mining would slowly begin to flourish again. However, as soon as Titan Station had been destroyed, taking the USG with it, it can be seen that the corporation had never truly recovered from the incident, and history had repeated itself, with employers struggling to find people to man the deep space mining ships, which may have just led to the corporation's downfall. However, they had changed industries before to survive, so perhaps they will do so again, perhaps returning to their lodges on Georgia 4, but judging by the end of Dead Space 3 Awakened, sadly I fear that is not to be the case at all. The CEC may have done things in their own way, however their main intention was to provide the public with an abundance of resources so that they could continue to live their lives, and that humanity could further progress, as long as they got their end of the bargain. But as we all know, with the best of intentions, people can sometimes stray from the path of good and commit heinous acts to accomplish their goals. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, then hit the like button. Comment what you thought about this down below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Sign up to join the British Alliance today by hitting the subscribe button and ringing in the notification bell to receive all updates from the channel. A special thank you to all of my channel members for your extra mile support. It certainly does help in content creation, and I appreciate all of you. And if you would like to become a member today and share in the exclusive benefits, then hit the join button and see which of the tiers sounds right for you. And I will see all of you among the cosmos, and be sure to have a good one.